There's only one thing in this world that's better than a win, and that's more wins. And with how the Knights have been playing, they know that all too well. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Brady Chesler. Alongside me, my co-host, AJ Turner. And we welcome you to SMHS Courtside, brought to you by Watchfire, the home for all your scoreboard needs. Tonight we have a great game in store where the Westview Wolverines are going to come in to take on the number 3 ranked San Marcos Knights. It should be a good game. And, you know, AJ, with how the Knights have been playing lately, I think it's been pretty hard to stop them. You know, last time these two teams played, it was an amazing game. We had a 65-63 overtime thriller at Westview. Jalen Williams, he had an amazing game. The senior dropped 20 points, 60% from 3. We'll get a little bit on him later. But I'm really looking forward to this game. And ever since that one, I mean, they have just been hot on a 9-game win streak right now. I mean, these Knights are looking really good.
Yeah, Brady, I agree. I mean, just like you said, 9-game win streak. They are on pace to be a better team than they were last year. 19-5 up until now, and they are 7-0 in league, placing number 1 overall in league. It is absolutely incredible. I mean, also on top of that, they are 3rd in San Diego for boys basketball. It's just incredible. One more thing I'd like to add is that an average of 16 points that they have beaten every team that they have played so far, which is incredible. 386 points over the points that have been scored against them.
Yeah, definitely the story of this team so far this season is the offense, averaging 75 points per game during this win streak, which has just been absolutely dominant. They're able to just get up on their opponents quick and early and just keep that lead moving the whole way through. It's definitely something very impressive to see. Longest win streak of the season so far for the Knights currently right now. And then flipping over to Westview, the Wolverines not quite having the same season that San Marcos is having. And since that game, not quite the same success that the Knights have been having like this win streak. So far, they're 15-10 on the year, 1-6 in league, not quite having the same dominance as the Knights have in their league matchups. And one of the big storylines so far for this game, coming off of a 6-game losing streak. They were really struggling as of late. They're averaging only around 44 points during that streak. The offense not playing much of a factor, really hard to get on them. But a lot of those games were pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, Brady, I did the math, and in the past 12 games or so, they only lost by an average of 6 points. That's 2 3-pointers. That is incredible. They have been able to keep up with the offense by playing incredible and outstanding defense. And as you mentioned, 44 points averaging a game may not be the greatest, but when you have a defense that's locked down like they have, it makes those good teams look really bad.
Yeah, you certainly mentioned that point spread that they've had over the past couple games. And looking at that losing streak, that's also another thing to look at the point spread. They're only separated by 10 points, and that's pretty inflated by one of their games where they got blown out. So keeping a lot of these games close, especially against a lot of tough league opponents, and they've been keeping it close against good teams. Army, Navy, and San Marcos took both of those teams into overtime thrillers. So even though they're not quite scoring well, their defense is keeping them in it. So, AJ, how do you think Westview can just kind of overcome these close losses and just battle through them?
Yeah, so like you mentioned before, Brady, that wide spread of points that they have lost to isn't that wide. I mean, they have been able to keep up with the offenses of the other team. You know, being able to have such a strong defense and being able to believe in their teammates and just making like a team like San Marcos 3rd in San Diego, as we mentioned, almost lose in overtime by 3 points is something that's unheard of.
And we talked about this being a rematch from January 21st. So now coming into this game with how close it was, what do you think these teams need to do, make adjustments-wise, to come out with a different result?
Yeah, for sure. I think that they just need to trust in themselves. Westview hasn't been a major dominant school in this basketball category ever. I mean, they're in this league where they have top 5, top 10, and top 15 schools in San Diego, but they don't make a name for themselves. I think they really need to trust their offense and just be locked down on defense like they have. Those 6 points can come up to 2 threes at the very end. And I think that if they just focus on making strong plays at the very beginning and just finding the weakness in San Marcos, they can be a dominant team.
Yeah, and then looking at San Marcos, adjustments-wise, I don't think they need to make any.
No.
Honestly, when you come in as hot as they have, I don't think you really need to change much from your game. I think they just need to stick to the offense they've been playing, keep their scorers on the court as much as they can, keep the ball moving, keep the offense rolling, and I think they'll be really happy with the result of this game.
Yeah.
And we talked about this win streak. AJ, how do you think that the Knights, how do you think they've been able to stay so hot, and how do you think they keep that momentum rolling on?
All right, so we've mentioned this in the last episode that we did this, but I think the reason why they're able to stay so hot is that they have a consistent group of veteran players, the players that have been here since sophomore year, junior year, players that have been playing with each other even before that, middle school, elementary school. They have a team dynamic that is unseen in most categories in most schools. It is incredible. And I think that being able to come out tonight with the anticipation, the ambition of wanting to just prove themselves from last season, leaving the league, leaving the season in a 26-5 record, I think they really want to come out and make a name for themselves. Losing two dominant players, Richie and
Jackson McCall.
Like just having those players leave, two dominant players, and being able to keep up with
don't forget
last
star
season.
freshman Isaiah Hill. He transferred out last season. He went to Sierra Canyon. He was a great rotation piece.
He was.
Would have been a huge part of the team this year, but moving on to a bigger school, trying to look for better opportunities.
But even with those offsets, we came back and we're on pace, like I said, to a better season.
Yeah, and just one more thing on this win streak, coming up towards the end of the season, this being the final home game of the regular season, how do you think that's going to roll over into the playoffs? Obviously, last year didn't quite have the postseason success that they thought they should have had with how the season went on. This year, looking to try to make a difference. So how do you think staying hot and keeping all this momentum driving into the end of the season, how do you think that's going to play out? Yeah,
so I think that first off, answering your question with just being on a win streak like this, a lot of these players are seniors. This is their last season. For some of them, they're not playing basketball ever again in their entire lives. And there's freshmen, juniors, and sophomores who have that idea of wanting to prove themselves. And being on a road like this, filled with competition and just drive is what's allowing them to go forward. But I do want to talk about how a couple of these players have been outstanding in their field. Mike Brown, a senior, veteran player, been on varsity since sophomore year, has shown continuously that he deserves a spot on this team. And Brady's going to highlight Jalen Williams later, but Mike Brown, leader in 6 of the categories, including field goal percentage, rebounds per game, blocks per game, 3-point field goal percentage, rebounds and blocks. He has just been a dominant player.
Yeah, you certainly talk about one of the perennial seniors on this team, Michael Brown. He's been an absolute force ever since his freshman year, been one of the main players on this team. And this year, he's finally taken that leadership, top of the chain approach that I think we've been waiting so long for him to step up. He's been getting a couple collegiate offers, getting some great looks, and I mean, he really, really deserves it. And another senior we want to highlight is point guard Jalen Williams. He's another player, another huge force on this team, a part of that huge three between Michael Brown, Jalen Williams, and Nico Mott that is just such a huge factor for the San Marcos offense. But Jalen Williams has been one of the top shooters not only on this team, but one of the top shooters in all of San Diego County. He leads the team with 17.8 points per game. He's shooting 52% from the field and 38% from three, draining it everywhere he is on the court. And not to mention, when you look at those top 3 guys we mentioned earlier, Jalen Williams, 21.92 points per 32 minutes. Mike Brown, 21.2 points per 32 minutes. And Nico Mott, 20.5 points per 32 minutes. That ranks 3rd, 4th, and 5th in San Diego County. I mean, some of the top scorers all playing together at the same time on the court together. I mean, this San Marcos offense is surely one of the top in the country, top in the county, and they really show it off. And I mean, it's been shown with the results. You go on a 9-game win streak, and you're kind of looking at how many points this team is putting up and how they're able to create these large scoring margins. It's because of those 3 guys.
Yeah, and Brady, you mentioned one more guy we didn't talk about, Nico Mott, being a junior on varsity and having a top 5 best points per 30 minutes in San Diego is truly incredible. It goes to show what's in store for this young talent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and AJ, with this big 3, how do you think how they've been so effective this year?
I just think that being able to just go out and just score and attack first. I mean, majority of their points are scored in the first and second quarter. They are very dominant up front, and they do a very good job of attacking first.
And I feel like it definitely has to be a little bit of a factor of some of these guys leaving from last year, you know, some big starters going on, trying to move on to other schools, and that allows them to get more opportunities, see more minutes on the court, and you kind of just see where the effects are in the stat sheet and both just the eye test as well. So I think those big three players, a huge contribution to their success. I think they're going to continue to keep this dominance moving forward, continue helping this win streak, and moving into the postseason. It's going to help them with their eyes set on either an Open or Division I championship this year.
For sure. And I just want to say one more time, like, those three guys, it only took 1 year for them to outshine just everybody else. And I'm telling you, Brady, I know a team is built up of maybe 15 different players, but when you have a dominant 5, it is something that is truly extraordinary. You could have 14 players sitting on the bench, but when you have those 5 guys, you want to play them all the time.
Definitely, definitely. And another factor we want to kind of talk about tonight is San Marcos playing at home. You know, a lot of people talk about the home field advantage, the home court advantage, and I think San Marcos perfectly embodies that. A 9-0 record when playing at home. You know, San Marcos has been known as having one of the best student sections in all of San Diego County, led by the Blue Crew, and it certainly is showing in their home court record. And so, AJ, I mean, what do you think just creates this home court advantage for San Marcos?
Yeah, so I would like to just go into the aspect of football season really fast. Having a student section that is loud and ambient in such a big landscape only works when you're in a group of people. I mean, a football field is just so open and the noise doesn't travel as fast. But when you're condensed in a gymnasium like this, there is a pressure unlike anything you've ever felt. And I think having a student section that puts that pressure on to the other team is just what drives San Marcos to want to win every game at home.
And I think that'll definitely be showing this home court advantage tonight. And I think a lot of these players are going to be playing a little bit harder tonight, as it is senior night, where we're going to highlight some of these players who have given their blood, sweat, and tears to this program. You know, it should be a great game, honoring those guys who have just dedicated so much work. We want to just give a quick shout out to all of them. We kind of covered some of them earlier: Mike Brown, Jalen Williams, but also some of the other guys: Tyja Knowles, Johnny Ostrink, you know, Isaiah Crowell,
Quinton Allen. And yeah, it's just it's a blessing to be able to grow up with those guys and just see them just aspire to be great young men and playing basketball like this. And I just wanted to say thank you so much, Brady, for having me on this show. It's just been a complete honor talking about basketball, talking about sports. And you have any more final thoughts for us?
I mean, I think that's all. We just want to say thank you to all these seniors. We congratulate you on your senior night. And now, finally, let's move on to who you got for tonight's game.
Yeah. All right. First off, I want to say Westview and San Marcos last matchup overtime. I don't think that's happening this time. I think it's going to be a wipeout. San Marcos is going to.
And defense wins championships. But with a team like San Marcos, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think this offense, with how hot they've been, is just going to keep on rolling. They're going to steam over them, keep the pressure on at all times, and they're going to remain not only undefeated at home, but they're going to get their 10th consecutive win. I got San Marcos winning over the Wolverines on senior night. And that's all we have for this episode of SMHS Courtside. You can check out this game on NFHS Network or come down to the Knight Center and watch what should be a fun final game of the regular season. For the final time, my co-host AJ Turner, I'm Brady Chester. We thank you for sticking with us all this time on SMHS Courtside. Thank you and have a good night.